Good evening, chat. Hello. It's Thursday night. Welcome to the Thursday night show. I mean, well, so we'll be doing it tonight. Happy day after tax day, if that's something you celebrate. Patriots Day as well. Also, if you happen to if you're a Islamic terrorist, you commemorate the Boston Marathon bombing, I guess. Isn't that today too, or something like that? I forget. Anyways, guys, welcome to Thursday. Welcome to Thursday. And can we get the old countdown music back? I mean, I'd like to be in. I got to figure out. I got to work on that. So I got to work on that. I thought it was the 19th. Yeah, fuck it. I was close. I thought it was close enough. Close enough. I mean, close enough. Anyways, guys, welcome to the show. I hope you guys are doing well. How is everybody's weekend so far? Yes, so hope you guys are all looking forward to a very nice weekend here coming up. It should be a nice time. Remember, Monday is the anniversary of Waco. Remember Waco, as far as things are concerned. Also, Adolf Hitler's birthday. Also, if you're if you like weed, it's your day as well. So if you happen to like Hitler, retaliatory attack against the government and or weed, Monday's going to be your day. The 19th is Patriots Day, and it's the anniversary of the battles at Lexington and Concord, starting off our War of Independence. And so the beginning of the most base nation in America. Well, in American history, but also in the history of the world. It's good news out there. Yes, wake and bake for Waco. Yes. It's also my birthday. I'm not that lucky. No, it's not my birthday then. It's also the anniversary when Solid Snake crashed Arsenal gear into the New York City courthouse. Oh, I forgot that. I forgot about that part of the game. It's actually not like, I know a lot of people like number 2. It wasn't my jam. There were cool parts in it. But I think Snake Eater was great. And then I know people don't like the Phantom Pain, but I think it was actually pretty good parts of it. I think there were quite a few parts of it that were good. So, and I know a couple of you have already been in here, but hitting us off already is Joe Schmo with 50 subs. Woo! Wow. Just coming in here and laying down that hate on those on the grays. But this is a green neighborhood. Wow. I mean, that gets you in a war. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your support, your generosity. But just crushing those grays. And I heard that Ryan even mentions it now, praying the gray away. It's working, chat. The message is spreading. Praying the gray away. We are going to make America green again, chat. We are going to make America green again. Just you wait and see. Also, hope Vodka Blood's out there because we still have his 5-star days hat. We got a hat for our hat. Are the Crips not welcome here? It's a blood neighborhood. We got them blood shoes. Yes, the mean green killing machines. That's right. That is right. Cool Chill Name says, can we consider a Clyde welfare check? Yes. Let me see if he... Wait, we just had some thunder. I don't know if he's going to move. Let me see here. Hey, Clyde! Come here, buddy. Yeah, I don't... Guys, we... Like, when the weather starts to get shitty, he, bunkers down. Which is going to be really awkward for him, because I've got a big announcement here. You guys want the click-clacks. I don't hear no click-clacks. All right. Well, I guess we'll get started now. Your mother and I have some things to tell you, chat. We got some big news. We are moving. 2.0 and I are moving to La Floride. That's right, the Gunshine State, chat. Yes, the land of Steve Gosney and Matt LaRosiere. Yep, we are moving to Florida. 2.0 in her employment was given an opportunity, and they said, "Will you come to Florida?" And she said, "You aren't willing to pay that." And they said, "Name your price." And she named her price, and they said, "Deal." So we're going to Florida. We're going to Florida sometime this summer. It just happened at the beginning of the week on Monday, actually. So we're still sorting everything out, but it is official. We are moving. So I'm gonna have to take the Florida bar. Yeah. Oh, again, another bar exam. It's like, I didn't think I'd have to do that. But oh well, I am so proud of 2.0 for getting to where she's at. And I think it'll be fun. It'll be a great new chapter in our lives. We're taking, obviously, the dogs are coming with us. So are the cats, And we'll be, at some point, there might be a little downtime in the middle of the summer. Maybe like a week or so. As we finally make the move. Because certainly 2.0 might already head down ahead of me. I'll be here to make sure the house gets wrapped up. I'm going to have to be able to, I got to wrap up my business here. And I've already started working on that. So giving attorneys calls and figuring out what we're going to, you want this case? Would you like this case? I got, my client, this client will go well with you. This client will go well with you. You'll like this case. You'll like that case. So we'll see what happens. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Sean, what are you going to do in the meantime? Well, I'm still an Ohio attorney, so I can do work on Ohio things and Ohio matters down in Florida. So, for example, I ghostwrite appeals for some attorneys. I could still do that. I can do that all from Florida. And we're going to get to what that is different from, maybe being a doctor and working on people in another state. I'm going to be able to work on appeals. I can help draft documents. I can review things. But I'm kind of limited on what I can do. To take the bar in Florida, you got to go take it because they don't let carpetbagging attorneys who retire move down and destroy the market. Also, it's Florida, so it's very nice, and they're trying to protect their market. So you have to take the bar. It's going to be not the July one. It's too late to apply for that. I'm not sure. By the time we get moved in and settled down, maybe I can apply for the February bar. We're going to have to take a look, but usually the timelines start rolling pretty quick. I'm going to be lucky. I probably could skip character and fitness. I could probably skip a couple things. I don't have to worry about the MPRE, stuff like that for the multi-state professional responsibility exam. There's a lot of things I could probably skip, but I mean, I honestly was doing the math on this. I might be forced to take like the July bar next year. And then from then, it'll probably be September. Well, it'd be like October, November when I find out if I passed. So we're looking at like an 18-month downtime. Like we're looking at an 18-month lag time, chat. But you know what that means? I'm going to be available. Like we're going to be doing like trial streams during the day, shit like that. Like Courtney Clenny, that's going to be coming up. Like we're going to have some time to bond this year, chat. We're going to have some time to bond this year. But I want to let you guys know, I think it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's a big change for all of us, but like I said, I'm very proud of 2.0. And is it enough for me to be a stay-at-home dad with the dogs? No, but it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. So, we'll make it work. We'll make it work, chat, but I'm looking forward to it. Joe Smosh has finished all those models. There is not enough time. They're all coming with me. We will have a much bigger studio set up. The house where we already got a house. There's a house we're looking at. It's got bigger rooms. I don't know how big this one is, but it's a couple feet bigger overall. A lot more closet space. So we'll have some game plans set up. We'll have some game plans. Do you know what part of Florida you're going to be in? Yes, and I don't want to tell because I don't need people A-logging and we don't need people looking. We'll figure it out in a little bit. We'll figure it out in a little while. Am I going to be wind chimes up and down the I-95 corridor? Yes. Pizza says, will you be close to the beaches? I mean, do you mean like sand beaches or like beaches like Razor Ramon talks about them beaches? Because the sand part, yes. Yes, it's going to be on the, we're going to be on the east coast of Florida too. We're not going to be on the west coast. Who's going to dog sit Bonbon? I know, that's going to be a big problem. No Bonbon, no more Louis. Things are going to change, guys. It's you know, I'm going to have to make sure you guys are going to have to use those Bonbon emojis. You have to have the Bonbon emojis. It's the villages. I'm moving to Cape Coral. No. Moving to Tampa. No. I said east side, guys. The Atlantic side. Don't make Meme jealous. Yeah. 10 o'clock Sand mentioned. Yes. He's sitting there. He's asleep right now in Japan. All of a sudden, he's like, Sand. Orlando. No. Yeah, I was going to say, you're close to the beach everywhere in Florida. Yeah, we're going to be moving in the middle. Like, it's going to be hot as fuck. It's because it's going to be like June, July. And it's also going to be like right in the middle of like we're going into hurricane season. So it's like we could be moving in, and in the middle of moving in, we just have to evacuate. Like it's going to be great, chat. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best thing ever. So I'm going to be a Miami lawyer looking like Jonah Hill and War Dogs. You know, what they had is, you know, that's a cool thing out there. I mean, yeah. Maybe that'd be fun. That would be fun. Stephen Cooper says Miami or Daytona. Well, I mean, there's also Jacksonville, but we're not telling. Okay. We're not telling yet. The West Coast is the best coast. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. So are they moving in with Null? Yeah, that's right. We are going to meet down there. That's why I'm going. Don't forget the Lufa guide. Yes. Are you going to be in the prosecutor's office? No. I mean, I can't be a Florida licensed attorney for a long time anyway, but no. I don't think a state's attorney's office would hire me based on my pedigree of videos at this point. So I don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. I might try to find some jobs. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities down there where a law degree is helpful, but I don't necessarily need to be practicing, at least for now. And then as we get settled in and I could take that bar and then go back to practicing or figuring, like, I mean, I'm going to have to start all over down there, chat. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know all the fucking rules down there yet. I'm going to figure it all out. Cool Channel name says Florida is amazing. Yes. Sri is saying, when is the move happening? Like June, July-ish probably time frame. Sometime like that is probably our goal. Like we'll be officially done and I'll be like the last train. I'll be like the last helicopter out of Vietnam. No. You really aren't gonna like being fat in Florida. Well, yeah, that's especially in the middle of the summer. Yeah, no, I mean it's gonna be a great motivator to get skinny. So LCW Archive says, what's your bar prep approach going to be? Similar to the first time or more chill? I mean, well, the bar exam is going to be vastly different from when I took it. I mean, almost 15 years since I did it. I'm going to be confident knowing I got through it. It was okay. It's still high stakes, but yeah, I got through it. And they're moving on to what's called the next generation bar exam. So it's going to be new stuff coming out, and I just got to figure out how to do it. So, I mean, like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous, and I'm not like, oh my, like the first time taking the bar, like, fuck. I'm just more like, fuck. You know, I'm not looking forward to it because it's like shit I have to do, but I'm not like scared of it. Like the first time I drove, like, you know, studying for the bar was rough. I was working at nights. I was working full time. It sucked. It was cold outside through January and February. You know, you go down and take the bar. It's a whirlwind. You don't really sleep. Like the first night I slept, the night for the bar, I slept like an hour because I was just like ready to go and just like all the anticipation. And then you get through it. And then I drove home. I don't remember driving home. I probably could have run over people and never known it. And then you spend the next like 2.5, 3 months thinking, oh, I probably did okay. Oh my God, I failed. I probably did okay. Ah! Yay. Ah! Yay. Ah! Like it's very schizophrenic. Like it must be how schizophrenic people feel at times. Or like really manic swings. Like it's just, for me at least, it was like, I got this. Oh no. I got this. Oh no. And it just depended on which thought caught my mind when I had a free second. So, um, yes, I's BPD confirmed. Thank you. All right. And then Joe Schmo for a Red Boy for $100 says you picked the best way to escape an incoming Vivek governorship. Do not redeem it. Sir. Yes. Very true. And thank you for that, Joe. I appreciate your support. Very much. Big fucking support. Big support energy, chat. That's right. I don't hear anybody talking about big support energy. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it does suck. I'm not, I know a lot of people here in Ohio fighting the good fight, and I've been helping them. And, like I know people who are judges now who have successfully run for office, some who have been appointed by the governor. One of my friends is going to be in a dogfight for election this year. He's running, and it's going to be really tough for him. He's fighting, and it's, he's a phenomenal judge. I wish I'd be here to help him, but I'm going to be gone by then. I mean, it's tough when you leave people, are fighting the good fight, and there's good people. But hey, a lot of good people in Florida. Fight the good fight down there. Fight the good fight down there. You hear it, Gosney and Martin. No, but it'll be neat though. I'll be able to get to hang out with Steve Gosney. I'm certainly going to reach out to him. Fudbusters, all those people are down there. Florida's a place where that guy in that beat up truck has 10 million in the bank. Yes. Florida voted a ficus in the office. They did? Wow. Yes, claviculars down there. I could be his counsel. I'm sure he's always doing things. Visit Sarah Boone. That would be funny. That would be funny. All right. All right, guys. We got to catch up on a couple things here. We got to get started. It's time to go. But I wanted to share the news. I wanted to share the news with everybody. And if you guys see 2.0, tell her congratulations because she's been working really fucking hard lately. And she's been putting in her time and really demonstrating what she can do. And they finally, recognize her for it. So it's good stuff. Good stuff all around. Chugi Show says Leighton wondering if the local hospice doctor will write notes for his clients in his court. We're going to get to that here in a minute. EDW Raptor says, can we get the old countdown music back? Yes. Smog and Mogg says, happy birthday on the 20th, Sean. Thank you. Alaskan M, who's been here for 10 months. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Says, came for the truth, stayed for Clyde. What, I mean, it's impossible to argue with that. It's impossible to argue with that. It's Clyde. He's such a good boy. EDW Raptor for $20 says, congrats on the new job, 2.0. Now Sean is getting dragged to the land of SEC college football, the World Center of Racing, and rocket launches. Just promises you won't be a complete fucking carpetbagger. Well, I mean, you guys understand, Florida man probably came from Ohio. So, like, I'm just joining the evolutionary process down there. Besides, like in Ohio, you could already open carry. That's not something we had to beg the governor for. Like, you guys like a lot, like Florida likes to talk a lot of shit. It's like, I could carry around a gun anytime I wanted to, and I didn't need a fucking fishing pole. How about that? How about that, chat? For starters, we used to be able to text and drive here. We were like, for longer than Florida could do it. We can do all kinds of cool shit up here. Just saying. Just saying. SEC football sucks. Whiskey 77 for $9.99 says, "Don't Ohio my Florida. Don't Florida. Don't Florida Nuevo Ohio." That's what it is. It's really going to be New Ohio. Debbie O for $5. Thank you, Debbie. Good to see you. Says, "Took me about 2 summers in Florida to gauge the heat. Otherwise, no issues. It's good here." Yeah, that's a thing. I'm looking forward to that. You know, it's like we're getting ready to move, and I'm looking in the garage, and I'm like, we have like our snowblower, like, you know, like I said, we got the electric lawnmower with the big freaking batteries, and we have the snowblower with those too. And I'm like, well, shit, we ain't gonna need that snowblower anymore. So, yeah, it's all kind of neat to see you don't need anything there. Shugi Show says, "Oh no, Sean, small dogs and gators do not get along." Yeah, that is something I'm worried about because we are going to be living near some water. We're gonna we've already the house that we're looking at, already has a fence, so that's not an issue. And we'll put up a little smaller, shorter fence so they can't hop through. And we'll plan for that. But yeah, that's a big concern I have. It's a big concern I have. It's a concern for the cats too. Shredder S07 for $4.99 says, "He's Florida man." Yes. Am I going to be neighbors with Viva? No. We aren't making that kind of money. We aren't making Rumble money. Kathy, your realtor in Jersey for $10. Thank you, Kathy. Says, "Did someone say house?" I can refer you to the best. Kathy, I appreciate that, but through 2.0's company, they a person who's helped them settle a couple of things. They kind of had somebody they pointed us to already. So I do appreciate the referral. But we're already, we're actually, we got something already. We actually got something. So it's amazing though, like how cheap compared to like here in Ohio, a similar sized house is. But thank you though. Anyways, guys, remember though, if you're in New Jersey and you're buy, sell, leasing, whatever it is involving land and real estate, Kathy is your girl. Hit her up. So, all right. So let's get back to it here, guys. Is it Rumble money? No. I wish. Joe always says he's moving to Florida too. Yes. Well. Gator is good. Yeah, like we'll be able to go. I'm probably try to go gator hunt from the airboats, and then there's hog hunting down there. It's gonna be great. So, oh no, what will I do without paying income tax? Apparently you pay a million fucking taxes and tolls though down there. Yeah, I'm gonna be in the land of Merch. Merch is gonna be probably like 3 or 4 hours away from me. So, because that's the interesting part of Florida. There's no you can't just go across Florida. You have to go like to get to the other side. So, yeah. So, we'll keep moving though, chat. It's time to move on. All right. So, moving on to the first thing tonight. Actually, it's not the HRO shit. There's actually some more like serious shit that's gone down. And it's the singer David. If you guys remember, he is the artiste who there was this weird they found a decomposed body in his fucking car last year. If you guys you remember, in his Tesla. And at the time they're like, we don't know who did it. But a decomposed body was found in his car at an impound lot. And if you guys remember, this happened last year about September time. Okay, well, there's been an update. He's now been arrested and is in jail awaiting arraignment on the murder of the girl in the fucking car. So, yeah, they finally arrested him. They arrested him tonight. I mean, this came out as I was getting everything prepped up and ready to go. All the stories prepped and like my tabs all set up and pulling my Kirsha and having like a million tabs open at once. I mean, like this hit 8:36. Like they just arrested this guy. So yeah, he's been arrested on suspicion of murder. I hate it when it does that. Damn it. I hate it when it fucking does that. You're just clicking on stuff and it's like, I don't want to work today. Why? Oh, God. Why is this? I hate it when it does this shit. There. Okay, there we go. Okay, fuck off, Adobe. Jeez. Just wanted to read this. So he's only 21, but he's been of a teenage girl found dead in his car. How long did this happen? About a year ago. Yeah, he was on the world tour and they had to wait for him to return to the United States. This was his girlfriendish. Yeah, but he's being held at the LA jail. And yeah, the case is going to get presented to the district attorney's office and they're reviewing the case. So, but anyways, last year they found the remains of Celeste Hernandez, a 14-year-old, which he's 21. You're like, oh, got some like Drake type shit going on here. Was found in a Tesla. And it was inside a cadaver bag. Like it was inside a body bag. So yeah. And yeah, don't forget, she started talking to him. He started talking to her when she was 12. Yeah. There was a lot. Yeah, they were dating. Yeah. He's a nonce. Yes, it's some Drake shit out there, man. Yeah. Pickle Man says they really want to have a strong case before arresting since he's rich and will have good lawyers. Oh, yeah, he's going to get like Alan Jackson and some other good stuff out there. But yeah, a second body bag contained dismembered body parts, which I will say I do appreciate and respect that he kept his crime scene clean. Like, if you're going to butcher someone, put all the, you got the torso, you put it in one bag, and then you take all the body parts, you put them in another bag. You don't want the body parts all like, when you're trying to cut up the torso, digging through a pile of arms and legs and feet. You don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. Evan says, where do you get those? I mean, like, Google. I mean, like, if you want, like, well, number one, you can go to Amazon and do it. I mean, here we go. Here we go. This is buy body bags. You can buy the white bags, you can buy the black bags, you can buy any kind of body bag. You could go to the body bag store and buy some body bags. Is there a potentially criminal discount code for that? No, but there should be. There should be totally. Use the promo code criminal for 10% on your purchase. Yeah, I mean, like, look, you can get a chlorine-free body bag, adult size, $15. I mean, that's not bad at all. You can get FEMA Blue. You can get a blue body bag for $15.50. Like, that's not bad at all. You can really, oh God, I might do this for Halloween. Like, have like FEMA camp in the front yard with like stuffed body bags. That'll be hilarious. Babe, we got a Halloween idea. But look, they have all kinds. They have like diamond. They have like the heavy duty ones for fat people like me. They've got these with the they've got your triage coloring. You could do like the red ones. You need 5 weeks. So if you're going to kill someone, you want to put them in a red body bag. 5 weeks, chat. 5 weeks lead time. The orange ones, you could do like a color of them. So you can do all kinds of shit, chat. Like you get a purple body bags. You can have the straight zipper ones. You can have the bag in a bag. It's like you can have the bag in your bag. It's like a hat for your hat. This place has thought of everything. This place has thought of everything. There's a water recovery bag. So it's kind of like mesh. So the body can drain. You know, if you want to throw your body and waterlog it, you could buy a mystery box of just random body bags for $50 fucking dollars. That would be a hell of an unboxing. I just bought a bunch of body bags. Let's see what I got. Can you get them with custom logos? I don't know. Maybe you need a Cricut for that. Yeah, and even as there's children's sizes. Yeah, there's you know the kid sizes too. Oh, Florida's gay, no FRT triggers. Oh, damn. That sucks. Yeah, the body brand body bag. Body bag. Oh. Do these body bags come with parts in them already? I don't know. I don't know. That would be interesting, though. That would be interesting. Anyway, let's get back to the story here. Filings, they say he was the target of the investigation. Yeah, the grand jury's been looking into him for a while. It's not clear how the girl died. And that's because they're trying to investigate and figure out how to go after him. She was reported missing last year. And yeah, this is but yeah, when the news like of her remains broke, David was on his tour and yeah, he was cooperating and he later came back. So yeah. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So, amateur iconoclast, other pre-owned body bags. I'm on a budget. Yeah. Yeah. Body not included. I know. Some assembly required. Yes. Body comes separately. Batteries not included. So that is like actually really breaking news, guys. Like that's the breaking news. I think that was kind of important to get to here. So, I think the issue was she was too decomposed to work out the time she died. Yeah, because it's, you know, sitting in the hot LA sun, I'm sure she turned into a pile of goo pretty quick. That's one of the problems when bodies decompose. They kind of turn into a pile of goo. Like not that kind of goo, but a bunch of goo. And I'm sure like that trunk was just a body, a sack of skin, and like fucking body juice everywhere from decomposing. Emily's gonna have a field day. I think I'm gonna have a field day with this too. On a wall says, if I ever date again, I'm gonna have to access Amazon history. Yes. Text area says, she ate my goose, Sean. They only found out because neighbors reported the smell. Yeah. Pickleman says, I can't believe Aaron did this. Yes. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yup. Let's see here. Brewberry says for $5 Australian dollar, doodles. He probably already had them. He had coffins and stuff for his funeral themes for his concerts. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. He liked to cosplay a killer. He girl bossed a bit too hard. That would be hilarious if he used his like set props. Really, like Alec Baldwin's gonna be like, I respect his dedication to the art. I too once killed with props. I too once killed with props. Oh, shit. That's so funny. So yeah, we'll see what happens from here. I'm sure it's totally gonna go perfectly fine as we go through this. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All right. Kaleidoscope says amazing. Yes. Set props. When Walmart has a whole murder aisle, it's lame. Well, he dressed up in white shirts covered in blood. Oh, so he's like OJ cosplaying. Based. Yes. Why leave it in the trunk? This is the problem when you guys commit murder or very serious and violent crimes. You're kind of having to mad lib this as you go, because you can't really dry run it. And I'm sure he killed her and was like, "Oh fuck. What do I do? Threw her in the trunk." That's like a very common thing. It's just, I'm sure he panicked. And that's the problem when you commit crimes. You can't mess up ever. You have to be flawless. And you're not going to be flawless. You're going to screw up. The cops can rumble, stumble their way around, and they could still catch you, and you could still lose. So be careful when you do it. Be careful when you do it. It doesn't work out in your favor. You got to be really good. I mean, we talked about it before. Like the guy in Connecticut, he killed his wife and used a wood chipper and shot her out into a river. He cleaned out the wood chipper, but this like little sliver of tooth was caught in a crevice, and that's how they got him. Otherwise, they would never have found her. I mean, there's a million different ways. You're not going to get it right. You're not going to get it right. Eventually, you're going to get caught. So, yeah, it is the nature of the business. It is the nature of the business. Katie says, cue the music. Oh, the Pacific Ocean, yeah. Oh. Tio Hank says, how you doing, man? Says, what if they auctioned the car off? What a nice surprise. That's always the fear of like when people, because I've had clients who they go buy cars from police auctions, and I'm like, you need them to like ask them to run the drug dog around the car once and document that. Because you don't know, like you're going to be cleaning out the car and you open up, like you pull a panel away and there's a bunch of coke, or like you find guns and murder weapons that were hidden. That's the danger. But yes, in this case, you find a fucking body and you're like, whoa, woo, that's not good. That's not going to be good. Jesus Love You says that's dumb. They won't run out. So you have to put the wood chipper into a larger wood chipper. I mean, like you do have to, like, if you could take the wood chipper and get it smashed in a compactor and like mixed in with a bunch of scrap metal and sold to a scrapyard, and like, yeah, that would be a way to get rid of it. That would be a way to get rid of things the best you could. So, so that's why you never buy from police auctions. Best to get directly from the drug dealers. Yes. And yes, police auctions are like gambling. You can get a car, but maybe I can get a free Glock with a stendo on it. Yeah. Just be careful with that stuff. Be careful. All right, chat. Moving on to the next big thing, and it is the HRO. The HRO nonsense of the two gayest men in Minnesota. I mean, they really just can't quit each other. I think that's really what this comes down to at the end of the day. Why did you turn up? They can't quit each other. Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law and Aaron Imholt of the Steel Toe Morning Show. And then also there's the other one, Patrick. There are some updates. They will have the remainder of their evidentiary hearing. It's going to be June 5th. I know Nick's like, I got it and I wanted it. It's like, but what are you going to do? Because we remember how the first one went, and that didn't go so well. I don't know. Apparently, he thinks he's got some sort of secret plan. There's no such thing as secret plans in law. Like you've got what you've got. And certainly, if I'm Aaron's attorney, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'd like to request some evidence. What's your discovery here? See what you can get out of it. Who knows? So apparently, Nick tried to lecture Aaron's attorney on knowing the rules and knowing the law. And Nick's like, you better study up on it. It's like, then you have a procedural argument. You should be making that like now, or you could have made it earlier. I don't know why we're waiting now till later, but okay, whatever. So we'll see. But Nick did show up. Obviously, Aaron was there. Patrick Melton was not there. Patrick Melton, at the last minute, the 11th hour, gave his attorney a doctor's note saying he had a bad back and he couldn't travel. And apparently this is something that's been plaguing him for weeks, which I've seen there's a clip out there of him saying like he picked up a tree and fucked his back up, which that makes sense. But the issue is this was a known injury and we fucked around until the last minute after we've already asked for a continuance and never mentioned it. And then, oh, by the way, now I can't be there because my back hurts. You can see why a judge is already like, yeah, I'm not buying that. On top of that, he got a letter from Dr. Steve, who is a dabbler. I don't know which guy he is. I don't know if is he the potato guy or something? I know he's anyway. He signed a letter saying, I'm a doctor. Patrick can't go anywhere. He's a doctor from Tennessee in Nevada examining a patient. And it's like, I'm not sure that's going to work. I'm sure that's not going to fly with the court. That sounds kind of shitty and kind of bullshit, unless there's, a long relationship of him examining Patrick and treating him. And, does he have a Nevada license to practice medicine? Doesn't look like he does. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't look good. There's so many other ways this could have been done. And it's been done the poorest way imaginable. So we'll see what happens. He's the weird medicine guy on here. And yeah, he's the O&A regular. I heard that. I don't remember him from back in the day. I mean, I remember all kinds of shit, but not that. He's a palliative care, which you could argue palliative care and pain management kind of go hand in hand. But if like Dr. Steve happened to be a plastic surgeon and he examined Patrick, that would look really bad because it's like, you don't fucking do that. You're not a back doctor, or examine, orthopedics or anything like that, or a spinal surgeon. Steve has a monthly subscription to the body bag site. If he's in palliative care, yeah, probably he does for hospice. Jeez. Did Melton fly to Vegas? Melton lives in Vegas, so that's why they do it there. Or he lives like outside of Las Vegas, but that's his like home turf. So, Greencap says Melton already flew to Minnesota for Aaron's sentencing. Yeah, he did, but that was like last year. So I don't think that really has any bearing. Like if he had done it 2 weeks ago, yeah, that would be relevant, but it's not relevant to today. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure that the court's got a lot of questions. Whether Aaron and his attorney run wild with it, I don't know. I mean, what's going to happen? A lot of stuff could happen. Patrick didn't show up, and if the judge does not determine this is a good excuse, the judge could be like, all right, well, I'm holding you in contempt. Show cause. Show up here and explain what the fuck happened. The judge could just enter default. I consider this as you being absent, and usually when these restraining orders, protection orders types of hearings happen and one party doesn't show up, a lot of the time the court's like, all right, well, fuck it. Granted. So I don't know if that's what you want. That's a bit of an issue. And this is something, if any of that happens, I'm Aaron, I'm asking for the default, but I could see the judge holding off on that till the June 5th thing anyway. Seeing if Patrick shows up and then grilling him and dragging him, across broken glass and making him suffer a little bit. I don't necessarily think he'll make a ruling now. He might hold it all in abeyance till then. Don't know. The one thing I will say, and something I know some people are, upset with the way I explain it. Yeah, the current temporary HRO says no physical contact, stay away. But the idea that means, I can do whatever the fuck I want for the other parts of this and say whatever I want. If Aaron wins this, I'm assuming he's going to tell the court, Your Honor, I would like you to expand the scope of the HRO to include them even talking about me. And guess what? If you've been doing that, the court might go, yeah, you know what? Sounds like these guys are assholes. You can't talk about them anymore either. And given the fact that the judge offered the continuance with the stipulation of shut the fuck up, that's not outside the realm of possibility. So yes, there is a temporary, limit, but the idea that HROs and protection orders don't ever expand and once they're in their final state and cover more conduct, I mean, you know, that's like driving a car 100 miles an hour and only staring 10 inches in front of your face. Oh, the HRO only said no physical conduct. No, like look a mile down the road and say, oh God, we might be running into a fucking brick wall. Just something to wrap your mind around. Wrap your mind around that. Just wrap your mind around that out there, chat. Something to put a pin in for later. So, the toe wins by doing nothing again. Well, Aaron's talking, and that's his problem. So, Aaron still can. We have like 45 days till the 5th. Actually, it's like 50. We have like 50 days until June 5th. Aaron can easily snatch, defeat from the jaws of victory here. He easily can. So let's not act like this is in the bag already. Remember, like it's the victory formation. That doesn't mean Aaron won't or can't fumble the ball. He very realistically can. So it's not all the way over. But yeah, I mean, it's for him, he's already presented evidence. Nick is already on to cross-examining him. That was when the hearing stopped. So yeah, Aaron's really already presented most of his evidence. So it's really in Nick's court now. So yeah, Aaron just has to kind of sit there and, once again, I think their conduct has really tipped the scales in his favor. So we'll see. We'll see though, chat. We'll see. There's a lot of baseball to be played. Jordan Bebke says, Aaron the gay one? They're all gay! They're all gay. They're all cringe. Is Toe going to pass on the 1 yard line of the Super Bowl? Yeah, that's Aaron. That's Aaron's straight. Like Aaron can easily be doing that. Yeah, 100% he could do that. Don't count him out to make intelligent decisions. The idea he could fuck it up is very, very real. So, let me see here. What do you got? Holy shit, you guys are going fast. He inserts his toe in his mouth. Yes. Yes, he does. You sound like you don't think you should play chicken with the court. No. And I still think if they had just shut the fuck up already, this would have been over already. The judge probably would have tossed it and said, Aaron's a fucking lunatic. And they would have been able to do whatever they want. And this would have been dead last year. But they couldn't just fucking leave it alone. Exercise a little bit of fucking restraint. Just a little bit of restraint. They'd have been done by now. They wouldn't have had to settle. They wouldn't have to face losing it. They would have just won. They could have won by not doing anything. But that was too hard for them to do. It was too hard for them to do. Too hard for them to do. Power Windows says, Aaron too much of a normie for all this gay internet drama. Oh no, he's all neck deep in this gay internet drama. He is gay internet drama. So, are we going to talk about the drug? We're going to get to that next. We're going to get to that next, Erica. We're going to get to that next. Let me see here. I'm just trying to catch everything up. Oh, so damn it, I just lost it. I just saw there was this must be I didn't know if this was a Aaron joke or something, and I don't fully know the Dabble lore, so that's why I was going to bring this up. T.O. Hankson in a super chat about for $20, T.O. Hank. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Says, if you need a place to stay, Granny has an extra cot in his shed. Granny, and I'm not sure I want to know, and has a cooler to poop in. Dabbleverse guy. Oh, I was going to say, that sounded like Cog for a second. Although he poops in a bucket, but a cooler sounds a lot more sophisticated and a lot more refined. But I didn't know if that was also some sort of Aaron joke. Oh. Thank you very much, though, for the super chat, Hank. Let's see here. I think we're all caught up on that. Okay, the next thing that happened, the net Granny is a trans person. The Granny fucked a trans person. Lol. Okay. At least the cooler has a lid. Yes. This could have been a quartering joke as well. Chadwick says, like, yeah, it definitely could. It definitely could. It definitely could. Definitely could. Yes. Anna Wall says, I know way too much about Granny. Blame Aaron. Hella says, you say I don't watch you. Well, here. Well, thank you, Hella. All right, guys. Moving on from that. The next thing, and I understand people want to see, like, when Nick was facing his sentencing and the amount of people were like, I want him in prison for 29 years. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, that's not going to happen. That's not what we should want in society or do to people. Put him on probation, let him complete his terms, and like let him move on with his life. Well, part of that is people in recovery, things happen. And when you're on probation and you're doing drug testing, it's not uncommon to have a probation violation. And for Nick here, this is an order that got filed, but it's not like there was a hearing for it. So what was this? Well, it's a probation violation sanction was confirmed by the judge. So what does that mean? The probation department is an arm of the court system. So probation officers work for the judge. That's why it's a very big deal. If you're on probation, don't piss them the fuck off. Don't treat them poorly. Those are the judge's employees. They hire them. They work for the court system. Now, there might be some times where, like here in Ohio, there are some times where the Adult Parole Authority contracts with like really rural communities in counties that can't afford to hire its own probation department. They send out parole officers who work as probation officers and also parole officers too. So it's a thing. But these guys work for the court and, they report to the judge, hey, we've had a problem. Now, in Nick's case, what did they say? Well, the above named offender, which is Nick, participated in a sanctioned conference process. So there wasn't necessarily a full hearing on it, but he didn't do something right. So there has to be a sanction. There has to be a punishment. And they talk him through it. And part of what you can do in probation is you allow your probation officer to increase things or decrease things as they see fit. And part of that involves them notifying the judge, and the judge signs off on it or says, yes, do it, or no, don't do it. But in this case, Nick failed to test on March 19th and April 3rd. Now, when you don't show up for a drug test, missed tests are considered positive screens. I mean, that's a big thing. If you're not showing up, they assume you're using. Now, was he? Who knows? Did he get busy? Was he with his kids? Was he going to an underwater piano recital? Sometimes shit happens. This is the first time this has happened to him. Now, I know everybody has their theories. He's been drinking and doing whatever all year long. For the probation department, he's been following the terms of probation. He's probably paid off all his fines and costs that he had. He's met his requirements for get like evaluated and follow all recommendations with drug and alcohol stuff. I think there's probably some mental health stuff he had to do in there too. I forget everything off the top of my head, but he's met all the requirements. He completed the community service. Like, he's doing everything. He's doing everything he's supposed to do according to the terms of probation. And then he missed 2. And they weren't back to back. And they're a little staggered. So this is, well, how do we address it? Well, this is the way you address it. Like, look, you're going to get sanctioned. What is that sanction going to be? You're going to have to test more. Maybe once a week, every week. Maybe twice a week for the next month. Who knows exactly. He's also going to do 16 hours of community service work by May 15th. So they're giving him a bit of a sanction. And this is how you work with people on probation. Like, you got to make sure you show up for everything. Oops, I missed. Well, next time you'll make sure you don't miss. That's how probations work. It's the idea that we're making sure you're programmed to act like a normal person in society. So that's what's happening here. This is a perfectly normal situation. The only thing that's a little different is Nick's in this program where if he completes everything, they can dismiss the charges against him. In Ohio, that's called intervention in lieu of conviction. Most of the counties here in Ohio, when you have an issue while you're on intervention, that actually turns into a full-blown hearing, and you're in front of the judge, and the judge is like, why should I not revoke you out of the program? Minnesota, it doesn't appear that's the issue. Minnesota allows it to be like an internal normal probation situation. So for Nick, this has worked out, and we'll see what happens. I know a bunch of people want him in prison or they want him in jail or whatever. That's not the first step here. If there were a bunch of issues with probation, if he wasn't doing X, Y, and Z, he tested hot, nothing else was happening, or he catches new criminal activity, then yeah, local incarceration might be an option for him. They might put him in a lockdown facility. There's a bunch of steps, hopefully, before they decide on incarceration in a state institution. So I know people want to see the worst thing happen, but as a member of society, you should want to see the court system work the right way for everybody. And here it's working the right way. So, and it sounds like it's working the right way for Minnesota under Minnesota standards. You're in front of a judge. Yes, that's exactly what I said. Is he driving drunk? I don't know. He missed the test because he's watching Aaron from a tree with binoculars. What about speeding tickets? Speeding tickets don't count. Speeding tickets don't count as criminal activity. I mean, everybody can get a speeding ticket. It's like if you get a ticket for your brake light being out. Now, you might say, well, like in Ohio, for example, if you get more than 3 speeding tickets in a year, they start becoming like jailable misdemeanors. I don't think that would count either. It's really a true criminal action. That's really generally what they care about. So I would assume not even speeding tickets where he lives. But he might have I think we talked about it as a term as probation. He has to notify them when he has interactions with law enforcement. So he probably has to call and say, hey, look, I had a run-in with the cops yesterday. I was speeding. Or maybe it doesn't allow for traffic. I don't remember. I don't recall. His Mustang's all dented up. Yeah, but I think it's been dented up for a while. He hasn't fixed it, so it's not a Bondo buggy yet. Adam A. Dude says, how do you serve community service work? Is there a place you go? Well, it all depends. There are court programs for community service, like Nick the last year when he had to go do it. He had to go, I think he put up stop signs, and then he had to do oil changes or work on county vehicles, like washing police cars, whatever, go paint a park bench, shit like that. Yeah, there's a lot of those times where that happens, but there's also situations where the community service is up to you to get done. And they'll give you a list of places to go. So you can go volunteer at the animal shelter. There's many times if you're involved in a church, that's a nonprofit as well. You can go do stuff at the church. And, oh, what the hell was that? A bunch of emails just hit my inbox or something happened. What the fuck was this? Oh, hold on, guys. I got to make sure that I'm really a problem. The fuck was this? Okay, no, never mind. No worries. It all depends on where you're at. In Nick's situation, it sounds like they already have community service work. He's got to call him and schedule it. It's getting warmer out, so, get it done soon and go from there. I volunteer for the ice cream parlor. Yeah. Remember, Nick said he wanted to be a community speaker, public speaker for his community service. Yeah, or he wanted to go do something else, and it's no, it's meant to be you're doing physical labor, and it's meant to kind of give you a little bit of purpose, and also there's a little bit of a shame angle to it too, that you're having to go do that in front of people. it's kind of a motivator of, fuck, I don't want to go do this again. I mean, there are multiple, a lot of places when they're doing community service, you have to wear like a little vest says I'm performing community service on it. That's so people understand who you are, but also a bit of shame, bit of a shaming angle that you don't ever want to do this again. It's a bit embarrassing. Mowing the grass on county property. Yeah, that's one too. Although I'm sure that there's a danger of letting them use motor vehicles or lawnmowers, because all it takes is for somebody to run someone over or run their fucking foot over and chop their foot off. And now the county's on the hook for it. So they're giving them kind of menial labor to do that the county doesn't want to waste time on. Let's see here. Yeah, he wanted to be a meeting leader for AA. It's like, yeah, he would not be a good AA. He would not be a good AA person. I mean, I can only imagine what his inventory for step 4 looks like. Oh. Let me see here. Joe says wearing an orange vest on the side of the road with a garbage bag is how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, but I mean, there's other ways, and also that's a bit dangerous at the end of the day. Having them paint in the park, having them paint things in the park, or paint the, or just do other shit for the county and the government, and, this community, I think is a other way of doing it. So playing in traffic is always kind of sketchy. What about could he marry Ethan Ralph? How would that be? How would that help the community? Oh. Yeah, AA is a religious organization. Well, it's kind of a religious organization. I mean, they believe, like, they call it God, but you believe that there's a creator or higher power. That's really all it takes. You don't necessarily have to believe in God, but you believe there's that higher power. So it becomes a government issue, retard. Yes. Yeah. So didn't Young Thug have to do anti-gang talks at schools for his community service? Yeah, but he was also involved in a he was accused of being a part of like a massive criminal street gang that orchestrated murders and was doing like real rude boy shit. Like, Nick is not the gangster of, Spicer, Minnesota. So let me see here. What else is saying? Could Kurt pursue harassment against Nick? No. And, Kurt's too busy, like, doing real legal shit to not worry about that anyway. So, no. Tech Guy South says it has a holy book. Yeah, they have their big book, and it has rituals. I mean, it's a religious-ish thing, but it's not really a religion in and of itself. Let's see. Minnesota gangs are dangerous. Yeah. AA is not I mean, if it's a cult that's actually helped a lot of people. So it works. AA and NA have helped a ton of people. So it's a template. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that's where Nick's situation is. And that's really it. So like, people are like, God, like, this isn't that big a deal. It's a pretty normal thing. Pretty normal event out there. It's like Scientology. They don't take your money in AA, though. They don't take your money. Your mom's a cult. Your mom's starts with CU, but something else. Ends with T. We need a show where Sean teaches us how to build our own copper pot still. Well, we're actually going to go on to that next. Speaking of AA and drinking and all kinds of stuff, there has been a massive case out of the Fifth Circuit, and this is one we talked about previously. Guys, believe it or not, this is a case that originated out of the Northern District of Texas. We covered it when it happened, and then the attorney who helped argue it at the time we had an interview. We sat down and talked about what they were doing and how this was going to work. And it's about the idea that since 1868, you cannot distill liquor in your home. Can't run a still. And that's been part of the government's prohibition on private distilling of liquor at this point now forever. Now, ultimately, it's all about, the government claims about safety, but really it's all about revenue and the fucking revenuers. And I'm just saying, chat, normally, I'm not, dealing with revenuers, it's never a bad day to take out some revenuers. This is the one thing I will say. Tennessee has the most Bay State song. Remember, chat, Rocky Top talks about murdering treasury agents who are looking for a moonshine still. And when they went climbing up old Rocky Top, they're never coming back. So it's Copperhead, Copperhead Road is the same thing too. Get 100 pounds of yeast, some copper line. Because, everybody knows that he makes moonshine. Yeah, you better stay away from Copperhead Road. Yes. Yeah, nobody likes revenuers, chat. No one likes revenuers. Now try to listen to Rocky Top on repeat, Sean. Well, I know, but yeah. But anyways, fuck revenuers. Fuck revenuers. But that's been something that's been going on forever. And in the Fifth Circuit, there has been an update to all of this because they finally ruled on it. Now, remember, this only works in the Fifth Circuit. So in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And then more importantly, as of right now, this was an as-applied challenge. Okay? This was an as-applied challenge. So there's only 3 people, or there's only a handful of plaintiffs that get this benefit. So even if you live in the Fifth Circuit, unless you're one of these guys that's listed up here in the caption, you don't have the right to go make alcohol. Okay, you can't go be Popcorn Sutton and go make yourself some corn liquor. Ain't nobody making no moonshine. You are not these guys. Do not go make moonshine. Only they can, because they did an as-applied challenge saying the way the law was applied as to them was unconstitutional. And the Fifth Circuit agreed. Hasn't stopped you yet. Yeah, that last name, yes. Now, yes, you got to reconnect with your cousin, Rick. Oh. And yes, Edward Scott, we'll mention this quick. Yes, the government created the term denatured alcohol. Yes, because they required during Prohibition to add in lots of methanol to alcohol, industrial alcohol, because people were using that and selling it and drinking it. And the government never told anybody this was happening. So in the beginning of Prohibition, a bunch of people were dying from drinking contaminated alcohol full of methanol. Like entire speakeasies full of people were getting sick and or dying. The government was willing to murder you for Prohibition. Keep that in mind, chat. Keep that in mind. Not the first time. Yeah, methanol is still required. Methanol is still required, but now people know that. People know that. People know that. David says, what if you're in the Hobby Distillers Association? From what I've read through this, I'd be very, very, very careful. I'd be very careful. It only, actually, it protects all named plaintiffs. I'm sorry for I have some notes here. So the Hobby Distillers Association as well, but I think it's only people who were part of this before the case was initiated. So if you try to join now, it's too late. It's too late. But the Hobby Distillers, if you're in the Hobby Distillers Association, you live in like Arkansas, can't do it. If you live in Ohio, can't do it. So, yes. Just be careful about it. And it was against the U.S. Department of Justice. Remember, chat, because the ATF is part of the DOJ now, but also the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau. Okay. Remember, the Treasury Department is in charge of that because it's all taxed. The Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms, because they were in charge of taxing it. So if you run a still, if you are a liquor distiller and you distill whiskey, the ATF comes to your thing and they inspect and they issue you a tax stamp. You get tax stamps if you are in the tobacco business. You get tax stamps if you are in the alcohol business. And you get tax stamps for guns as well. But it is a unique thing, and they have a whole process. And it's really interesting, all the things you do. Yeah, Chitin says there's another thing you haven't learned today. There's another entity. Yes, the ATTB. Yes. Yes, and it's generally known as the TTB. So they point out, though, for more than 150 years, Congress prohibited home distilleries, as part of the federal excise tax on distilled spirits. And ultimately, they affirm that they concur that the statute violates the Constitution's taxation and necessary and proper clauses. And we're not going to read all that tonight, because if we start talking about the necessary and proper clauses and all of that, we're all just going to want to stand there and just blow our fucking heads off. But as things go here, though, ultimately they talk about these guys are members of the Home Distillery Association, and they want to produce their own spirits at home. And remember, believe it or not, for a long time, making your beer and wine, those were illegal too. Making wine was something the ATF relaxed the rules on in the 70s. Making beer was also something the government's relaxed on. Technically, those things were illegal as well, but regulations went away. Yeah. Yes, it was the Home Brewers Act. Yes. But for a long time, it wasn't a thing. There are people who distill alcohol for fuel, but you need special permits and taxing for that. And you have to demonstrate that it's not consumable. But they point out no one can legally distill consumable spirits at home. In 1868, the bill was enacted to impose excise taxes on spirits and tobacco. It also did more than impose taxes. It prevented a person from using any still, boiler, or other vessel when the still was located among other places in any dwelling house or shed, yard, or enclosure connected with any dwelling house. So think about that. Like even if it was 100 feet away and you had your she shed and you put your still in there, can't do it. Now, to be fair, were there concerns about that stuff? Yeah, because any Yahoo puts a still together. You know what stills, if you guys don't know this, every once in a while a still can easily go kaboom. I mean, they are very dangerous. If you're not paying attention, they can be like a very, very fucking dangerous thing. The government hates steampunk, yes. On this. The wine moms got a dub in the Carter administration. Yes, they did. So, they point out, though, that the law has been recodified, but you can't do it in any shed, yard, or enclosure of any house, or on premises where beer and wine is made or produced, or liquors of any description are retailed, or on premises where any other business is carried on. If you violated this, you face up to 5 years of imprisonment. So in recent years, what happened? Well, the ATF, remember, they're in charge of that. As part of their move, there was the newly created TTB, the Tobacco Tax and Trade Board, under the Treasury Department. Because remember, the ATF's now gone. The revenuers now work for the DOJ. Well, the Treasury needs Treasury agents again. And ultimately, what was going on? Well, the TTB was noticing that people may have purchased stills that can make alcohol in the manufacture of, consumable alcohol. And they were sending out letters to people that, hey, we heard you bought this. And because remember, they have access to all that stuff. If you're unlawfully producing distilled spirits, you could be punished by a fine of up to $500,000. Yes, think about that, chat. Just like the NFA. What happens if you violate the NFA? A fine of up to $250,000. $250,000 for having a sawed-off shotgun. That's Yeah. So this goes on and on and on here, and they go through everything that's addressed in this case. Bun says, "Oh my God, thank God Sean is moving to Florida. I just realized he'll be in my time zone." Ohio's in the Eastern time zone. I'm staying in the same time zone. Oh my God, does everybody think Ohio's at Central Time? This is horrible. This is horrible. Who is the injured party? The tax man. The tax man. The Treasury. Because they're not able to tax it. The government doesn't get to wet its beak on your alcohol. And they ultimately go through it. So that said, though, guys, that's not everywhere. Is the DOJ going to seek a review, an en banc review? Maybe not. The Fifth Circuit's pretty based. Could they go to the Supreme Court with that? Ugh, that's risky. That's risky. I mean, I don't, Clarence Thomas will be like, fuck yeah, let's go get tore up. Even Brett Kavanaugh will probably be like, let's get tore up. Neil Gorsuch would probably be like, yeah, let's get shwasted. But like, is Amy Coney Barrett going to join? Is John Roberts going to join? I don't know. There's also a case right now brewing in the Sixth Circuit that's kind of on a similar thing that's going. So there could be some circuit splits. We don't really know what the full impact of this is yet. So, but ultimately they point out that the government can't just ban an entire class of taxpayers because they are potential taxpayers and people who could do it. So we thought Ohio was a country in Colorado. Yes. Yes. But ultimately this goes on, and guys, it's 20 pages of this. And here's the thing, like the Treasury said they won't even consider a request to permit a distill at home or at a residence because it's against the law and illegal to distill spirits at a residence. Just saying, chat, you can ice, basically I distill things with ice and put it in your freezer and just like scoop out the ice as the alcohol, and you can kind of concentrate up. Just who said that, Sean? No, you don't. No, chat. No, don't do that. Don't do that. T-Rex Travel says, are you allowed to reference other circuit cases in motion practice? Yes, 100% you can. They're just not persuasive. I mean, they're not binding, they're persuasive authority. And that's the thing. The Treasury would give you a permit for fuel alcohol, but they are heavy on inspecting that stuff. And it's kind of like if you have, in some states, if you have red pop in your, if you have farm diesel in your truck tank and they come up and they inspect your tank and they put the little pipette in there and they pull out a bunch of red pop, having that no tax on the agricultural fuel running in your car. Yeah, you don't want to get caught like that. You don't want to get caught like that. It's like having a natured alcohol in your stuff. The cherry flavored diesel. Yep. Where I call it, though, it's called red pop. So they call it here. I don't know what they call it everywhere else. No, blim. Agricultural diesel sold for agricultural purposes is dyed red to be different from diesel for commercial and, regular civilian use. And that's because it's taxed differently and basically no tax on it. People will take agricultural diesel, the red diesel, like I said, around here, we call it red pop, and you gas up your dually with it. And well, if they find out you're doing that, they can fuck you over. If it's just, you don't work on the farm and you have red pop in your truck, it's hard to explain. We call it Ruby or off-road diesel. Yeah. Yep. Off-road diesel. Yes. Yeah. That's the actual technical terms. Yes. Thank you. So red diesel in your, what fucking lawnmower are you putting diesel in, man? Red diesel's in commercial boats? Really? Wow. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Thank you, Johan. And yeah, your state DOTs will enforce that. So will your state taxation departments. The revenuers, chat, will enforce it. It's all bullshit. Should we be able to whatever? Yeah, I agree. But remember, the government, if you start making alcohol and running a still, they'll send them guns to kill you over it. So be prepared. Be prepared. Yeah, if you're fishing, it's agriculture. That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Hitler's lawnmowers. The Wehrmacht drinks Fanta. The mower takes diesel. Well, to be fair, in the Wehrmacht, even the mower would be a horse, probably, because everything was horse driven. So I don't think you'd want to give the horse there. So let me see here. My state decriminalized distilling without a license, home distilling. Well, some places may have, but just be careful. Be careful. You know, if you want to do it, but I don't recommend you do it. I don't recommend you do it. And yes, Scott, you're not paying the excise taxes that are in regular road diesel. So, but yeah, you can do fuel, but you have to like show you're clearly making, and they will test you, and they will test what you're making to make sure it's not consumable alcohol. So, like that Simpsons thing where Homer's like alcohol fuel car, he's like, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. That doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way for the alcohol fuel cars. Is our wedding at Disney World? No. Yes, Adam, it's tax-free, bitch. Yes, it is. So they go through all of this. They go through their standards review. These guys have standing. It violates core constitutional powers that Congress has established here. So ultimately, what do they get to here? The prohibitions on home distilling are neither plainly adapted to Congress' taxing power and not consistent with the letter and spirit of the Constitution. The district court determined these statutes violate the taxation and necessary and proper clauses, and because the plaintiffs have Article 3 standing, we affirm the district court's judgment and injunctions against their enforcement. So they modified the injunction saying they're permanent now, and these guys are all protected. So these guys can go home, these three guys and also the hobby distillers, go home and fire up a still. I'd be careful about it, but they could. We all have standing. Well, you're going to have to try that. But it is very interesting. I think this is where I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how this is going to work, where it's going to shake out. What are you guys saying here? Making alcohol to drink is very serious. People could die if it's not right. Like, yeah, you have to throw off your first bit of it, and you throw out the tail as well, because that's generally more methanol than ethanol. But really, the reason why people got sick during like prohibition and things like that is because if you're trying, you use a radiator off a car as your condenser. So you're using some shitty Model T radiator and it's like 1930. So guess what? It's going to have like a lot of lead soldering on it and lead and other contaminants and nasty stuff. And that's why people would get sick and die. It's the lack of care of the equipment people were doing, because they were just churning out alcohol left and right. That's normally what got people sick and killed them. The idea that the guy who was, he didn't throw off the head and he didn't throw out the tail and just mixed it all together and people were chugging that and dying. That really wasn't the issue. It's that, the guy ran it through a radiator that never got washed out because he didn't care. That's really what killed people and got him sick. Yeah, they got sick. They didn't pay taxes. So, yeah, glycol. Well, I don't know if it had been in glycol in like 1929, but yeah. Yes, if you want to go blind, that's your business. Yeah, methanol is tastier, and you throw out the tail, but the Irish drink it. Well, yeah, but at that point, you can, that what like yes, you don't want to drink those. But like I said, that's you can be a little imprecise with that. It's just you don't run it through a fucking condenser that's a car radiator. You do it the right way and you make a condenser coil, but that requires more copper wire, which is more money and time. Where I could just sit there and braze on, some copper onto braze on some copper to the radiator, and I can just sell and make a ton of bucks that way. Why do they make antifreeze look so delicious? Well, it doesn't taste good anymore, but yes, that's something they had to work on. My dad said that happened when we were kids. Like my brother and I were really, really little, and my dad was in the garage and he knocked over a jug of antifreeze, and like we were over there looking at it, and like he saw us putting our fingers in it, and he's like, "Stop!" Because it's nice and it's brightly colored, and little kids, and you pick little kids are gonna start drinking it. That's why cats and dogs, like, yeah, it happens. It happens. So. Yes, there's all kinds of stuff in those radiators. You have to be careful. Let's see here. Back in the day, methanol was antifreeze. Yeah, I mean it would. Well, I don't know about back then. It would have been, but yeah, methanol was part of that as well. Yes, the wife's secret sauce for their husbands. Two Cox Fighting says, I know an old time farmer that has vintage antifreeze, so it's still the good stuff to put out. Yeah, I mean, also the old school antifreeze works a lot better too. I've been, the old timers say that does so much. KLS says that explains so much. No, we didn't drink the antifreeze. No, I have other kinds of stories. Like I got thrown on my head in a parking lot by my dad. That like in front of everybody at work where my parents worked. So like that explains far more than us possibly drinking antifreeze. What was that beep? On my little mixer here where I can control my sound and like I can. It also has and it has the little where if I start calling people, I could do that and bleep it out. I accidentally hit the wrong button there. So my assigned agent was beeping and well, that's 2.0. That's 2.0. Yes, and it tasted sweet. Yes, it did. Old antifreeze tasted good. Were you and Dad playing Kick the Baby? No, actually. What my dad did was I was born. My brother was not born yet, the way the story goes. So my dad had me in the car seat, and he was doing like whole thing with like it's like bucket of water. You swing it around, and apparently I was giggling and laughing and having fun with it. And as he was swinging around, I wiggled out of the car seat, and while I was up in the air, I wiggled out of the car seat and just right into the concrete in front of everybody where my mom and dad worked because they worked split shifts. Like one of them would be there to take, one of them was always home with me. So like my mom would go to work and then, my dad would be home with me. And then my dad would bring me up there and he'd hand me off to my mom. My mom would go home. My dad would go to work. So it's like shift change in front of like 100 people. And I just fucking head first right into the ground. So, yeah, my head is dented. I know we're all dented, chat. We're all here on the internet. We've all got a little bit of problem. Yeah, well, yes, kids bounce very well. Yeah. Yes. Eric says car seat. Yeah. Yeah, this would have been like I was less than a year old when I did this and wiggled out of the car seat. Am I using the Rode Procaster 2? No, I'm using the Razor. Oh, what is this thing called? The Razor. I think it's called the Razor's Cortex. I don't know. It's the Razor like 4-channel mixer. I don't know what it works really good. So car seat. Yeah, I was born in 1985, man. Yeah, so this has been like 1985, 1986 timeline. So did my mom see? Yes. My mom was walking out the door with a bunch of people leaving, and my dad was walking in with a bunch of people coming in. So like literally everybody for the day shift and then everybody for the evening shift fucking saw it. And my mom was watching my dad swing around. She's like, "Oh, it's great." And then all of a sudden, boom, and she's like, scared the shit out of her, she says. It's great when they tell this, every once in a while they'll tell the story, and my mom's reaction versus my dad's reactions are the way they tell it is fucking hilarious. So, so only pussies use car seats. I rode in the back of the truck. Well, 1985 is also my favorite Bowling for Soup song. It is. It is because I remember listening to it when I was a kid, and it's like, wow, 1985 wasn't really that long ago, but now it's like it's even farther from now to when 1985 came out, from when 1985 came out to 1985. And then there's the modern, like somebody redid it, and you're like, it doesn't slap as well, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I Never Let It Go. Oh, my mom has never let it go. She's never let it go. So she's never let it go. You're pretty. Paula says you're pretty close to being an actual lol cow had you laid it a little more crooked. Yeah. Oh. So. Yes, for the kids in the chat, Bowling for Soup sing the theme song to Phineas and Ferb. Yes. Yes, there's like 108 days on summer vacation. I forget the rest of it now. I could have been a doctor. Yeah, that's probably with that smacking the ground. It's like, nope, I guess he'll be a lawyer, retarded lawyer. It's like, he can't be a doctor. We're not curing cancer now, chat. Eric says, I keep forgetting this is your first human moon mission. Yeah. 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 So I'm as a doctor, technically. I know, technically, like on my degree, it says doctor, but I'm not a real doctor. Not a real doctor. I know my dad killed millions of cancer patients. Do I practice medicine in California? No. No. But I guess I could practice medicine in fucking Nevada. So that's a fun part of that. So are you a Jill Biden type of doctor? Yes. 100%. All right, guys. So moving on from there. God, we got to get rolling. Okay. Hold on here, chat. We got to delete some things. Clarence Thomas gave a speech at the University of Texas Law School and at UT Austin. And if you guys don't understand, UT Austin's a pretty big fucking deal if you can get into it. I wasn't getting into there. Let me tell you that much. It's not a law school to take me. But he gave a massive fucking speech recently, and I have not had a chance to listen to it all, but it's a banger of a speech. And this is it's going to be very interesting. Also, I did want to say a shout out to Kat Madison for sending me the story. I saw it, but also thank you for sending it to me. But anyways, this is Clarence Thomas talking, just a little snippet of it, but he talks for a while. Ryan Mullally covered it tonight. I'm going to cover it, I don't know, sometime here coming up, but it's very, very base. But anyways, here's Uncle Clarence just spitting some fucking bars.
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence, and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. It requires of the people a subservience and weakness incompatible with a constitution premised on the transcendent origin of our rights.
I mean, just think about how fucking base that was. Just saying literally progressivism is antithetical to the foundational principles of the United States. And that it's a threat and it's an assault. It's a cancer, a corrosive agent eating away at the fabric of our society and our nation and our people. Fucking based. Absolutely based. Absolutely based, chat.
Was this story based? Yes.
100% based. So just keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Woo. Woo, woo, woo. So, Kaleidoscope said, did I skip your super chat? No, we're going to catch up to those in a minute here. We had a shitload of them, and I didn't want to wait. Like, we got to get the show rolling. We will come up to those. We're coming up to a quick break here in a minute. So we'll get to that, I promise. We'll get to that, I promise. But anyways, based Uncle Clarence, we'll get to that here at some point and listen to what he said. Now, this is tax day. Obviously, you know, pay your taxes, or if you get an extension, pay ahead to limit the bleeding, chat, like I did. Pay a bunch of money now and then deal with it. That's what I do. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the remember, and it's funny because people are just like, now wait, she's retarded. Yeah, she's always been retarded. She's the retarded counterbalance to AOC. AOC, MTG. They're both tards and they both counterbalance each other. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene's gone off the reservation. And, well, here we go. This is just, oh, God. This is just absolutely fucking awful. Absolutely fucking awful here. So here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is her account. This isn't a fake. It's not a parody. This is 100% her. Here we go. So she says, I've seen countless questions since Americans saw my interview with a former IRS agent last week, where he claimed that 99% of Americans are legally not required to pay income taxes. Do not do this. This is not good advice. Don't try this, chat. While not paying your taxes is a based concept, do not do what this woman is advocating. Do not do it. Do not do what MTG is advocating. I almost need to make that a banner here, chat. Hold on. Okay, chat. Yes, please. Do not do what this woman is advocating. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. Anyway, here we go. How can Americans really organize a national tax revolt? Won't we all end up in prison? Well, I mean, like, you're going to need something like that, but that's really hard to do. That's really hard to do. Oh, I'm so that beeping thing puts you in a migraine. I'm sorry, C3. I didn't mean to do that to you. My bad. My bad. Sorry about that. So it talks about, can the IRS seize our bank accounts? What if my employer takes taxes directly from my paycheck? I can't answer those questions for you or tell you what to do, but Payman Moteted SAR of some sort, the founder of the Freedom Law School, can. Do not follow any of this advice from this woman.
Hi, everyone. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and today I wanted to do an interview and a video to address the situation that Americans are facing in our country. Now, we are nearly $40 trillion in debt.
I mean, this part's true. We're like, but actually, unfunded liabilities is like $100 trillion. We're never getting out of the hole, chat.
We're on the verge of a massive world war in the Middle East with America and Israel attacking Iran. And I don't believe we are making America great again. as most Americans are struggling to afford the cost of living.
But anyway, she goes on here and she starts talking about like, can you get away with this stuff? Like, here you go. It's just
Yes, over a Somali daycare fraud in Minnesota, and rightfully so.
And anyway, she starts going through all the different things you can do. And this is the guy, the founder of the Freedom Law School. Like, listen to this shit.
Know that. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, it's true. So that's the great thing, to be able to fact check things. But that was fascinating to me.
Oh, hold on here. I forgot. I went a little too far.
Probably hardly anyone knows this. That the tax code is written to tax the people who live in the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C.
This is not true. Do not do what Marjorie Taylor Greene is advocating. You will go to fucking prison. Do not do what this woman's telling you. This is fucking insane nonsense that people have gone to prison for.
Not the 50 states. And I think that's one of the most shocking little facts I learned on your website. I was like, what? This is crazy. So I'm from Georgia. It makes me go, well, why am I paying taxes? I don't live in Washington, D.C. I'm not a citizen of the District of Columbia. And that was something that, well, your website is filled with a lot of great information, but I didn't know
It's
that.
not.
And then
No, it's not.
I looked
It's
it up,
not.
and sure
It's not.
enough, it's true. So that's the great thing, to be able to fact check things. But that was fascinating to me.
This is 100% sovereign citizen nuttery. But I wanted you guys to hear this. Like, she's not just saying, like, oh, we should abolish the tax code or some base thinking. No, this is like, I'm going to go fucking do a standoff in the mountains type of shit. Holy fuck. Yeah, this is like trust account levels of stupid. And once again, it's I don't know if he's Turkish or an Indian, but you don't buy into this scam, Sar. Yeah, guys, do not follow this shit. If you guys have seen it, don't believe it. Don't believe it. All right. Before we get on to, we're going to get into catching up on some of the super chats here and get to our sponsors. Johnny Somali chat. I'm not going to do him justice here. But if you guys have watched, Legal Mindset or Itozi and some of the other channels out there, Itozi and Legal Mindset were in South Korea. I know Legal Mindset was, and then Kangmin Lee was down there in South Korea for Johnny Somali's sentencing, and Johnny Somali got sent to prison. He got 6 months plus 20 days. So he got like 200 days in prison. This goes for multiple things that he's done, desecrating the Comfort Women Monument and a bunch of other things. Now, he's not fully been sentenced on all of his crimes, but yeah, he's gonna be, it's not working out well for him. It's not working out well for him. So, he's also been labeled a sex offender in South Korea. So for a term of 5 years, he's got to have to register. Now, how does that work when he comes back to America? Because he is going to get deported. Depending on how the law works in South Korea, he may have to register here in the United States, depending on how it's set up. There's a lot of he's going to have to get an attorney for that, because if he has to register and he doesn't register, he's going to get charged for violating federal law, and you could face real fucking prison time for not registering as a sex offender, depending on it. Legal Mindset says he has to. I'll take his word for it, but I do know, because I've seen, this is not uncommon. Like, Americans get convicted of shit, and then there's consequences here. Yeah, for only 5 years, but do you think Johnny Somali is going to be able to stay on top of that and not forget to register? He's an idiot. So, yeah. Interpol's going to have fun with this. I think they want him deported ASAP, and that's why the short sentence. Well, I think there's also a shorter sentence because the first time they're dealing with this, and they're hoping this is enough of a deterrent, but 6 months isn't a big deal. You can do anything for 6 months. And yeah, he's going to South Korean prison, but it's not like he's getting beat to death or he's going to get raped by some big Bubba Russian or something like that. He's gonna have a tough time, though. He's gonna have a tough time. So, yeah, he's gonna have to stay away from women and children in Korea too. Well, he's not gonna be allowed in Korea. They're literally gonna deport him immediately after the sentence. Will this keep him out of other countries? It certainly can. It certainly can keep him out of other countries. He's probably not going to be welcome anywhere in Asia. More importantly, and this is something I do agree with mindset, the United States government should revoke his passport. All this guy does is fuck around everywhere he goes. South Korea is like a massive fucking ally of ours. We don't need him dicking up things for us as a country. We're really trying to, do things out there. And Johnny Somali's acting like a fucking retard. He shouldn't have a passport at this point. He's causing problems for America. So they can revoke that. And that's probably the easiest way to keep him from going anywhere. Deport him back to Somalia. That wouldn't be a bad idea, too. Yes, the prosecution has the right to appeal the sentence in South Korea. Even though it was within the statutory guidelines, they have the right. And he said, Mindset said something like they have 7 days to decide if they want to appeal. They can ask for more time. They can ask for the full 3 years. And Johnny could say, no, what I've got's good. Or Johnny can ask for even less time. It's going to be up to him what he does. And let me see here. Yeah, apparently Mindset, said he's appealing to some prosecutors to appeal a judge to get him a longer sentence. I understand why he's doing that. I mean, certainly I don't know if I would be I don't think I would do that, but I understand why he's doing it. Mindset has spent a lot of time in Korea. Andrew spent a lot of time there. I get that he has a very, he has a connection to that, and it's, it's a personal thing for him. So I understand it. Would I do it? I don't know. But I understand there's a lot of people asking for Johnny to suffer a lot more. And certainly if it happens, I'm not going to feel bad for Johnny. I wouldn't feel bad if he got 3 years right off the bat. And then this other stuff he has out there, like he has some other sex-related crime stuff that has not been addressed. And if he ended up with like 15, 20 years in prison, I wouldn't feel fucking bad for him 1 second. Everything he gets is to deserve it. So. If you revoke his passport, what would his nationality be? He'd still be an American, Coke Fairy. It's just when you get home, the State Department says your passport is no longer valid. So if he tries to get on a plane and flies to Japan, his passport won't work. His passport won't be valid. They'll scan it and it'll say it's not valid. He'll immediately get sent back. If he tries to go anywhere, they won't accept him because his papers won't be valid. So you still have a nationality. Like right now, if you don't pay your taxes, the State Department can revoke your passport. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do where the government can revoke your passport as a punishment. So, and that's a right as a sovereign that's conducting diplomacy. We don't need you fucking around. So, and this is, he gets what he gets. So he'd be banned from leaving. Yeah, pretty much. And Kay says, so would he have to be stuck with him here? Yeah, because he was born here, sadly. Like Hassan. With no passport, you could only travel to Ukraine. That would be funny. Watching him get chased by FPV drones, I would pay for that. I would pay for some, a Ukrainian or a Russian FPV drone. You know what? Put Vitali and Johnny out there in the middle of no man's land and let Azov and the VDV both hunt them for sport. That would be so funny. Let them both run for their lives. That would be the best. Live stream. I'd fucking pay for the pay-per-view of some VDV guys hunting Vitali through the woods of like Eastern Ukraine. That would be based. And Johnny Somali running from the Nazis in Azov. They'd catch him and probably crucify him or something. Oh. He can Hegseth can remake McNamara's morons. Yes, the Whiz Kids. But use IP2 streamers. KWM says, have I covered Smash JT tonight? No. He's going to require time because that thing is, it's not imploded all the way, but oh my God, Smash JT is just literally fucking giving it all away. It's a very interesting situation now. So, anyways, Johnny says, I'm so sorry. Well, you can be sorry now, buddy. And yeah, he just like Vitali, who spent almost a year in jail. Johnny's gonna spend a while. So there you go. So Johnny got 6 months. It's a start. It's a start, chat. It's a start. 6 more months would be better, but you remember, you get what you get. You get what you get, chat. You get what you get. So. Johnny Somali sounds like a third-rate gangster in a Scorsese film. Well, yeah. Have I seen the latest Greer update? No, I'm not. I've been a little busy, so. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, we got to catch up some of these super chats here. Some of you guys said it earlier. But first, we got our sponsors tonight, chat. First, guys, as always, the dragonstreasure.com, guys. Promo code criminal gets you 10% off your coffee, your tea, and your soaps. Don't cope. Criminal. That's the way to go, chat. At the dragonstreasure.com. Show the tea man some love. Buy him his tea. In chat next, we have who's going to be my neighbor. Not really, but he's going to be like within like a 2-hour drive. It's going to be MAF Corporation. That's right, chat. MAF-arms.com. Fudbusters, chat. Control Pew. You know him. You love him. There have been some settlements in the Cody Wilson lawsuit. Cody Wilson has bent the knee in part of his lawsuit with Matt and Ivan and the catalog. Now they're gearing up to do their big fight against the state of California, guys. Buy your wind chimes. It's getting nice out, guys. Springtime. 10% off with the promo code POTCRIM. And then, chat, last but not least, Stoney's Bar and Grill. That's right, chat. It is Thursday, home of the $2.50 cans. Stoney's Bar and Grill at 1580 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota. Guys, what more can I tell you? What more can I tell you at this point? It's Stoney's, the premier biker bar in Minnesota. April 30th, guys, the first bike night. 2 weeks, chat. 2 more weeks till we get bike night. The Heavenly Hog is going to be there serving food, and then you can come out, crank your hog on the Stoney's patio. And, get ready, guys. It's Naked Twister season, so get ready, get stretched out. Get your spinner ready. It's going to be time. It's going to be time before you know it. You don't want to be behind the curve on that when it happens. Also, guys, Stoney's is hiring part-time bartenders, mainly for the weekends. They will train you. Stop in to apply if you want to be part of the Stoney's family. Just keep that in mind, chat. Keep that in mind. I don't know what more. What more can I tell you? What more can I tell you, chat? Stoney's. 30 years running. 30 years running. All right. Let me see here. Where do we get to here? I think I got to. Did I get to? Torgo the White says, what's 2.0's new job to get you to ban in Ohio? It's not a new job. It's like literally the job she was doing in the same company. So that's more of the thing. She got a promotion, basically. She got a promotion, but it's kind of already what she was doing. Giant Sleepy for $9.99. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Says for the Hawaiian shirt budget. Well, it's going to be some big fucking Hawaiian shirts, but I appreciate it. Shredder S. 07 says he's too good for the Gulf of America, chat. Oh, that's my parents live over on that side. That said, though, it's like they're gonna be like 5 hours away. I was like, oh, we'll be kind of close to them. Till you fire up like Google Maps, it's like 5 hours and 21 minutes. You're like, what the fuck? Like, goddamn fucking Florida. There's no quick way across the state. Let me tell you. Radcon Hazard says, fell asleep with the stream open. Fat man woke me up. Got to requalify. I'm in the same boat with my new boat. Time to bone up and hit the books. Good luck, man. Good luck. Get requalified out there. DJH Phantom for $10. Thank you. Says, nothing is worse than wearing dress blues in the Florida heat. I can imagine that sucks a bucket of dicks, and I'm glad I never had to have that experience. But that sounds awful. That sounds awful. That sounds absolutely awful. Thank you for being here, by the way. The Amateur Iconoclast for 1 sub. VTubing Enthusiast says, he became Mr. Flowrider. Yes. Welcome to Sean's house. Baby, take control now. Yes, I don't. Can you play My House for the opening on the local show tonight? I'll play something Florida related. But yes, thank you for your $10. Thank you so much. Stardust Crusader for member for 19 months says, what part of Florida you moving to? The East Coast, north of Miami. I guess I'll say that for now till we get where we're going. North of Miami. We're gonna be east of Orlando about an hour, so if that helps. But thank you for being here for 19 months. 19 months, thank you. Let's see here. Where did I miss? Where are we at? This is user 404 says, for $5, says, no excuse now. You finally got to learn the difference between redneck and hillbilly. I'm going to have to learn. Apparently. Kathy, your realtor in Jersey, for another $10. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Says the wedding bell soon. Well, we were going to, our plan was to get married this summer. We were going to kind of get that set in June, and we were going to do a kind of like a road trip across parts of America this summer in June. That's probably going to get put on hold for a little bit until that was going to be part of the wet. We were going to get married as well. We're probably going to have to push that back to the end of summer. So we're still planning it this summer. It's just we were planning on doing it a little bit right off the bat. But it just change in plans. Change in plans. So you guys are all trying. You guys are just literally listing names of towns out there. Oh my God. So yeah, no, we're not going to get married on the initial plan of in June. We're going to have to we're going to push everything back a little bit. Hakojo for $2. Thank you. Says, we'll miss you, Sean. Hi from Muskingum County. Well, hello. Muskingum County is nice. Beautiful down there. They also have a gajillion deer, and they kill 8,000 deer there every year. It's cool. It's a very beautiful place down there. Truly is God's country out there. Most of Ohio's God's country, really. Oh, hold on, chat. All right, chat. All right. Johan says for $2, now you can have slumber parties with EDW Raptor. It's a long ways away from Florida. Are you moving next to EDW in West Florida? No, Iconoclast, I am not. Nico for $5.67 says, sounds like another win for the toe. I mean, that's going to be a to be determined. To be determined. Brewberries for $5 reduce says, there's talk about David already having all that stuff. Yes, we did cover that. Potentially criminal for 10 subs. Get Clyde in the mix again, chat. Clyde's just being a good boy out there. Keeping 2.0 company. Johan for 10 subs. Thank you for your support, your generosity. Clyde's gonna get a workout tonight. And Stacy, yes, remember for 28 months. Thank you, Stacy, for being here. It says, yes, the former lieutenant governor of Virginia, interestingly enough, named Fairfax, was it a murder-suicide? Yes, a major anti-gun control, a major gun control guy. You know, like, not everybody should have guns, ends up fucking starting a pistol. It's like, isn't that ironic? Isn't it ironic? Debbie O says, don't forget to get a generator before hurricane season starts. You won't find one after that. Best case, you won't need it. Worst case, no AC. Yeah, that's other stuff, getting that stuff ready and, getting into prepping again. It's like, great, now there's an excuse to prep. And getting things already put together. BobTube for $5 doodles says, is Nick planning to submit a 2-year-old video of Aaron joking his PP is small? Isn't a brilliant legal play? Once again, I don't know what Nick thinks he's got. I've got a great legal strategy. You don't. Like, remember, this is the brain trust who came up with the fucking watermark. But no, he's not gonna have a brand legal strategy. There's gonna be he doesn't have a special, like, this isn't where you just start, like, you hold a Trump card and you could just, like, boop. No, there's no mic drops. That's not how this works. There's no magic words. That's not how that goes. Dirty Eric for $5. Thank you. Says, congrats 2.0 and welcome to the Gunshine State, the carpet bagging province of Snowbirdistan. We have FRT legislation in the works to fix that. Oh, that's good, because I'm like, I'd like to get a hold of it. I saw Jerry Curl. He's a guy on Twitter. He's got, semi-auto MP5s, and he's run the FRTs, and apparently they work fucking primo. So it's like, I get it. I'd make an MP5 SD5 and run it with a fucking FRT in it to be based. And then Kaleidoscope, I told you we'd get to you, brother, says, why are matters that violate the Constitution not applied to all citizens in the Fifth Circuit? Wouldn't that violate the Equal Protection Clause? Well, no, it's as applied to me. As applied to me, meaning the way you're applying the law in my situation is not legal. A facial challenge is what you do for everybody. On its face, the law is unconstitutional. As applied is just saying the law may be constitutional, just not in my situation. So that's the difference there. But yes, there is a thing you can do. There's a thing you can do. The end is near. Beware for $5 says, I'm all for guns and advancement and making your but can't support a child. Can't support a child molester, Cody Wilson. Yeah. Well, that's that was kind of weird how the Cargill guy is broing out with Cody Wilson. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. So C3 says, are you excited to pass the bar and defend Florida men? That'll be kind of interesting. Yes, that'll be totally worth it. Maybe I'll have to get Sarah Boone's appeal. That would be funny. Then Spud Gun for £2 sterling. The King Sterling says, don't go, Sean. And do you have to retake the bar? Yes. Well, I am going, and yes, I have to retake the bar. So they don't allow you to wave into Florida. Squizguard for $5 says, if you have a generator, make sure it works. Yes. Also, don't just like make sure you crack your garage, and don't just put it in your garage and close the garage door, because people do that in Florida because they're retarded. Yeah, don't find out you left bad gas in it and ruin the carburetor when the power is out. That too, yes. Bella has been a member for 27 months. Says anything not to live under Governor Vivek, right? It's one way of looking at it. Yep. One way of looking at it. And Kyton's been a member for 5 months. Thank you for being here. It says the Florida legislators adjourned, so any FRT legislation is DOA right now. Fuck. Shit. That's no good. That's no good. All right, guys, let's get to the rest of these stories here. Clyde's going to be scared he's going to live next to even more Haitians. What if Clyde doesn't like Florida? He'll have to suffer. I don't want to get stalked yet. Yeah, so I'm not telling. That's true. All right, guys, moving on from there. This is an interesting story of a judge, and it's not really a real judge, but it's a kind of like what in Ohio we call an acting judge, which is an attorney or a retired judge who has a little bit of power, and they basically get to be a substitute teacher. Well, in Seattle, this guy, David Razuma, how the hell you pronounce this guy's name, was appointed as a visiting judge, a judge pro tem, as they call it, in King County, where Seattle is, the County of Kings. And what did he do? Well, you have this. He's employed with the district court as a judge pro tem, and it's signed by a judge with stamp, which is common that judges have their signature stamps. That's not an uncommon thing. And then the seal of the county on it. So it's pretty official. Why did he do this? Well, why does this thing exist? Well, if you are employed with the district court as a county employee, you get free parking. You get well, actually, you don't get free parking. You save $10 on your parking when you park. So this guy was trying to park, and they were charging him the full amount. He's like, but I'm a judge. And he's like, I've got a robe and all kinds of shit. They're like, doesn't matter. So he shows back up with this document that he forged to save $10 a day. So imagine it's just like signing a doctor's note for a guy so you can own Aaron M. Holt. Like, is it worth risking your license over? No. Is it worth risking your law license to save $10 on parking every day? No. And what happened? Well, this guy, got removed from his position by the Supreme Court of Washington. And it's like, yeah, so there was a disciplinary proceeding against this guy. And yeah, now he isn't disbarred, but he has been stopped from being a judge. Now, does that mean he won't face further punishment? No, he could still face punishment. We talked about this before. There's a 2-track thing when it comes to judges. They have their judicial rules, and then they have the rules of professional conduct as an attorney. So they have 1 and 2, and they layer on top of each other. So if the judge being that, looking you off, he's still got your professional responsibility. So when you violate one, generally you're violating the other ones, and he's going to get it. Yes. This is a joke, right? Nope. He couldn't expense it later. I mean, I would think you could. Generally, you could expense that, or, that's a deduction item. But this is the Commission on Judicial Conduct censuring and recommending removal of the judge. Now, the guy challenges the decision, arguing his conduct supports no more than an admonishment, meaning naughty in formal writings. Well, they determined that he needs to be removed. And he's been charged with a couple violations in the judicial canons of the judicial code. We talked about this before, though, Judge, Code of Judicial Conduct. They have their own separate rules. So what did he do? He used the stamp of a district court seal and the signature stamp of another judge without permission to create a fraudulent, misleading document to gain discounted parking. So ultimately, what did he do? Well, you're supposed to comply with the law as a judge. You have to promote confidence in the judiciary. You have to promote the independence, integrity, and impartiality of it. You have to avoid abusing the prestige of the office. And they point out that they want to make sure the allegations of this are not disputed. The guy admits to using the seal and signature stamp of the judge he was working for. This conduct, at the very least, supports a censure. They reject the argument that it's only an admonishment, which is the least severe disciplinary action that can happen. And as an attorney, you can get admonished as well. But anyways, he was basically this acting judge, kind of the substitute teacher, for a couple of municipal courts in Seattle and other places around. And then Snohomish County, I think I said it right. And that's pretty important. Like, it's a kind of a big deal if a judge knows you well enough and trusts you well enough to, like, can you be here when I can't be here? I trust you enough to do that. A big deal. It's a pretty big honor for this to happen. And they say when it happened, he had an ongoing dispute with the parking rates, and they allowed a $10 reduction for the general $30 a day parking rate. And that's when I saw that. Think about that. I mean, yeah, woo, $30 a day. It's like, are you parking a fucking airplane? So anyways, he presented the piece of paper to a parking attendant. And this is what they had. And that's what he did. And he says he doesn't dispute he didn't have permission to use a stamp. He also doesn't dispute he put the date on the signature stamp to match the date of the letter. When he points out the garage is owned by the county and is operated by a private company. The daily parking rate's $30, but employees get a discount rate of $20. If you're an employee, you could pay at the pay station where you verify your employment status or show their badge or other proof to the parking attendant. And they say no county discount without ID. And the pro tem judges don't receive a badge. And that makes sense because you're not technically a county employee. Oh, Keopathic saying there's no legal street parking anywhere. Oof, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, airplane parking is just a wee bit higher. I know. But $30 a day for parking is fucking bonkers. That's fucking insane. After being charged on the first occasion, he commented the price is expensive. Yeah, it's bad. And he's like, I showed him his placard. It didn't work. On a later date, he showed them his robe in an attempt to receive the discount. The attendant's like, I don't care. The wagie's like, I don't care, judge. Pay up. After this incident, Human Resources conducted an investigation, and they determined that he created this without authorization. They went on to do some more investigating, and they had a decision whether to remove him, and they had to report him because if he does things that are improper, remember, you have to report improper and unethical conduct. But anyways, he says he was entitled to parking discount, and the photograph of the document is incomplete. He claimed the document he created was covered in multiple random stamps. As a joke to display to the parking attendant, he should be entitled to the discount. Oh, yeah, there's space dust on everything. He believed he was an employee, and he was entitled to the discount. He says he was aware he didn't receive benefits like vacation or sick leave, retirement, health, or dental. He didn't at any point reach out to HR or the court administrators to say, hey, can you guys help me fix this? And HR or the court administrator would have been like the first person to do it. Yeah, the parking attendant's like, neat dress, bro. Still $30. So they say that ultimately the budget director for the county says that these substitute judges have not been eligible for the discount since 2005. The HR director said that the pro tems are short-term, non-benefited employees. They don't receive benefits. They also claim that they said their investigation, there was not enough room left to corroborate the story. There were other stamps on the document. And he says that the piece of paper was a standard 8.5 by 11-inch size. It's like, bruh. I mean, I'm not going to tell you. Chad, I'm not going to tell you how to do forgeries and stuff like that, but if you're using a whole sheet of paper, make it look good. Don't just like boop, boop, boop in like one little corner and be like, this is my permit. Like, if you're going to do it right. Like, make it good. Make it good. Yes, 803. Yes, all this for just $10. Yep. It's foolish. It's foolish. Like I said, it's like doing a medical note at Hackamania. Is it really worth it? It's like, probably not. Probably not. So, ultimately, this guy, you can't do this. You can't do these things. They don't, he's doing ongoing dishonesty because it's a bullshit story. It doesn't make sense. And they claim that he fabricated the story to conceal truth. Ultimately, the Judicial Commission's removing him as judge. And yeah, as these code violations, he still has duties to not be a piece of shit as an attorney. So, and they point out that unauthorized misappropriation of insignia, even if it's a small benefit, is an ethical violation. Can't do it at all. Can't do it at all. And ultimately, he needs to get referred for more discipline, I would argue. It's kind of the obligation at this point. So, this is really problematic for this guy. It's like 27 pages of him, and he does this here. He's like, I'll take CLEs, but he doesn't say how they would explain his misconduct or how it would address it. Because he's not willing to admit, I did something really fucking wrong. So it's a lack of genuine remorse. And it's a massive aggravating factor. Apparently he has other prior complaints. There's no evidence, though. And the guy has a compelling record of positive reputation. And that's the thing. The guy's not known for being a piece of shit. But he fucking does this. He served on the character and fitness board for the state bar, which is what you do. The character and fitness, when you're applying, especially like the first time in law school, character and fitness, they sit down and interview you to make sure, like, what's your past look like. And if there's red flags, the bar, the governing authority raises those and they interview you about them. And they figure out what's going on. So like when I got my DUI in college, I had to go in the character and fitness thing. They talked about it and like, did you need to go to AA? Do you have any alcohol issues? Like, are you good to go, bro? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, look, I'm good to go. I got assessed at the time as part of my probation. I'm good to go on this. Yada, 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 yada. That's a very prestigious thing. It's a very prestigious thing. He volunteers at a local legal clinic. He was well regarded, as he did stuff. And it's just like, fucking idiot, man. Fucking idiot. It's a good guy who did some retarded stuff. And once again, like we talk about with bar discipline, whether you cooperate. Now, they point out failure to enter into a stipulation or strongly defending against it is not a failure to cooperate. That's true. But your conduct in it is an issue. He had ongoing dishonesty. He continuously denied the severity of his misconduct. And it reflects a lack of judgment and integrity with what you expect of a judge. And it's his behavior that's non-cooperation. Remember, chat, it's how you act. They can use that against you. They will hold that against you. So don't spurg out when you're dealing with courts. It's just that's an ongoing thing here. It's like there's a theme tonight. There's a theme. And notice, here's another thing. They were troubled by the criticism and disparagement of the Judicial Commission. And the guy made his own the guy made a statement to the news and he shit all over him. And they say, based on these factors, he's not eligible for judicial office or to engage in this work in the future unless his eligibility is reinstated. So he engaged in dishonesty unfitting for a judge. So we recommend censure and removing him from office. I mean, ultimately, I think he needs to be referred probably to the state bar, and it's probably going to happen. So it's like, yeah. So Erica says $10 is $10. It is, man. But did it work out the way he thought it was going to work out? No. But it's just absolutely ridiculous what this guy did. What this guy did here. All right, chat. Moving on from there, regarding kind of some of the wrap-ups of the 2020 election, John Eastman, the architect behind Trump's many strategies that went out there, has been disbarred by the state of California, which is an actual load of shit because, look, the legal strategies he proposed were not in violation of any law. And in fact, after 2020, the Congress had to amend the federal laws and statutes to reflect the fact that, wow, there were some ambiguities and some vagueness there that John Eastman was looking at. So, but he's fucked. They've disbarred him. And as of now, the Supreme Court of California has told him to get fucked. The Supreme Court of the United States is not going to hear his case. He's kind of boned. So something to think about there, chat. I mean, that's kind of interesting. So don't it sucks, this guy there. So let's see here. Can he still be on the bar for a different state? I mean, here's the problem generally with this. If you get disciplined in one state, other states immediately go like, shoo. Like, it's like, there's like, if you're, let's say you're registered in, 5 states and the bar, like disciplinary council is like the fucking eye of Sauron. Like if I get barred in Florida and I'm still in Ohio and I fuck up in Florida, Ohio's eye of Sauron's going to be like, shoo. What happened? And maybe it's kind of they discipline me for it too. Generally, no. It all depends, though. It all depends. They're not going to be thrilled about it. And then it becomes an issue of if he tries to apply for a license somewhere. So John Eastman applies for a license. He comes to Ohio. Ohio, when you fill out your application, is going to be like, have you ever been sanctioned or disciplined and or disbarred or suspended? And he's going to have to say yes. And they can, they're probably going to reject them ultimately. But they'll say, yeah, well, we looked at this and say your character and fitness, we're not letting you in. Now, depending on the situation, they might say, okay, yeah, it's been a little while, or we understand. And yeah, you could come in and sit for the bar. But I don't think anybody's going to let him practice at this point. So, yeah. Mo folks says, even for this sort of political disbarment, I mean, probably. Like, I don't think most states will let you do it. So, but yeah, it is bullshit what happened to this guy. So, this will happen to a lot more lawyers sooner or later. Oh, yeah, 100% it's going to fucking happen. So, yeah. Maybe he can get to law school in Haiti like Richie Rashad or Rashad Richie or whatever the hell that guy is on the Young Turks. That Nate fucking BTFO'd. Yes. Yeah. Rashad Richie, I think is his name, or Ricky. I don't know. Something like that. Something like that, chat. Something like that. All right. Where are we at? All right, guys. Next up, there is now an ICE agent out of Minnesota today got charged with assault, which in many states is the act of threatening somebody or making them believe they're about to experience harm. Not every state calls it assault. They might call it menacing or threatening or whatever. But, he's accused of pointing a gun at people, a dangerous weapon, and there's a warrant out for his arrest. So it is, he's an ICE agent. He's not the guy who shot Renee Good, not the guy who shot fucking Pretty or whatever the fuck he was. Oh, yes, lawyer Jannies are gay and retarded too. Yes. But anyways, he's been charged with felony second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon. Gregory Donald Morgan is accused of pointing a gun, heads of two civilians in a vehicle. I'm sure they weren't being fucking assholes or causing problems or didn't deserve it. They were just nice people. But yeah, there's a warrant out for this. This is only the beginning. I'm sure eventually the people in charge are going to try to figure out a way to indict the guy who shot Renee Good and the people who shot Alex Pretty. This is only the beginning of the political witch hunts. So that is a massive, massive problem here. What's set to come, chat? But it's a preview of what's going to happen here as this goes on. You run into issues about, because he's doing federal work, is he entitled to federal immunity? Yes. So this could get removed to federal court. As we've talked about before, it happened with Lon Horiuchi when he shot Vicky Weaver and murdered her. Their case was removed to district court in Idaho instead of Boundary County, Idaho. And it kind of got drug out until the case fell apart. And then remember, the DOJ is going to take it over. They can dismiss it. They can do whatever they want at that point. Yeah, it's going to be rough. The supremacy clause is going to be a bitch, but remember, whoever gets in charge of the DOJ next, it could be a problem. So that's a bit of an issue there. It's a bit of an issue. But the whole warrant thing is meant to embarrass and challenge and make people feel bad. So that's what it's all about. Tilly says, tonight I learned it's only illegal if you get caught. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true, chat. That's true. Ag says pardons for everyone. Remember, the pardon does not excuse. Well, yeah, I mean, like that's another option, but it all depends on how the pardons are set up. So we shall see. With that, chat, we are all done. We are all caught up for tonight. We got through it. And let me see here. Squizgar for $5 says, Sean, if you ever need to cool down, SeaWorld has a nice tank available you should be able to squeeze into. Didn't they close down the SeaWorlds? I mean, I'll just go sit on the beach. I'll just have to worry about people trying to push me back into the water. And I'll be like, no, this is where I want to be. Trying to push me back in the ocean with a bulldozer. Let's see here. Can we talk about Aaron's penis now? No. Oh, SeaWorld's still operational. They just got rid of the killer whales. Really? Okay. So I used to have a SeaWorld up here in like the the eastern suburbs of Cleveland. So, but that's gone now. That's gone. Let's see. Did I miss something? Oh, KJ saying maybe he can practice for the military for John Eastman. That's not going to be really a thing. They're not really going to be. They're going to be like, yeah, no. John Eastman's just kind of toast, and we'll see. Does Trump go out there and show him any love and help out this guy? Oh, by the way, I did forget to mention this shit. There is one more thing, chat. We'll cover this a little more as this unfolds. But in the Karen Reed saga, This thing won't just die. Turtle Boy's case is still going, and that's kind of turning into a dumpster fire a little more now. I've kind of lost track on how to follow it. But right now, the Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, and Brian Higgins, the guy who probably the people who are probably involved in the murder of John O'Keefe, just saying, are suing Karen Reed and Turtle Boy for defamation. I don't think these people are prepared for the fucking discovery in this. I don't think they're prepared for this discovery. I don't think they're going to like it. So they'd better be prepared. They better be prepared. Karen Reed is a gift that keeps on giving, like herpes. Yeah, and it's interesting because in the Karen Reed thing now, like that whole world is apparently like imploded. So yeah, discovery is going to be fun. Discovery is going to be fun. But with that said, chat, we are going to end here. We are going to head over to Locals, guys. That's right, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. 1 month free with the promo code ICESTORM. ICESTORM all lowercase. I will see you guys over there. We do 2 shows a week, Monday nights at 9. And then after this, we always go over and hang out for a bit. Have a lot of fun. All the stuff we can't do here. And yeah, generally a fun time. So that is it for us. That is it for us. Edward says, but Sean, they already destroyed all their phones, and that will be something that can be used in adverse inference. So, Weird Tiger Race has imploded how? Apparently, like, the Free Karen Reed movement is, like, turned into, like, they're all fighting each other now and all kinds of shit. And Runkle, you know, they're going after Runkle because they're all fucking lunatics and stuff. The whole thing's a disaster. The whole thing is, like, literally crashed and burned. So, will this case even reach discovery? I could definitely see it getting to discovery. I don't know, though. We'll see. We'll see once the filings show up. We'll see once the filings show up, chat. And if you guys want to get back into the Karen Reed stuff, I'm willing to do it. But I know a lot of you guys were like, Karen Reed it out. So I kind of left it alone. But if you guys want to, we'll see. We'll see. With that said, chat, we are all done. I will see you guys tomorrow. Guys, remember, tomorrow night, we're going to start probably about 7:30. Because there's a lot of stuff of the Destiny thing to catch up on. We're going to go through that, a bunch of, clips and parts of transcripts to go through. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. We're getting to, they're coming up to the ultimate showdown here. Big pre-trial coming up this coming week. It's going to be interesting. Thoughts on Howling Mutant docs? I didn't know anything about that, so I have no thoughts. With that said, chat, I will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Just don't forge, to save a parking pass. That seems a little stupid. Sounds a little stupid. So, with that said, chat, I will see you guys shortly. Take care, everybody. Good night. And wow, we went 2.5 hours. We did pretty good tonight on time, chat. Pretty good.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rekieta HRO?